Look for the MV Augusta. That is going to absolutely fly. But of course, now the grid position's based on yesterday's results. So the MV is going to be coming from quite a long way back, but already the sprint. And there you see the number 14, that's Ian Bain. Ian Bain's going to get away on the number 14. Did he make a fist of it?
Fitchett got away best. I thought he looked keenest. There he is at the front ahead of Ian Bain. Of course, Bain's right with Brogan yesterday. Started very poorly from the front of the grid and had to play a bit of catch-up. But what a start there from Duncan Fitchett on 99.
Mike Edwards 1-2-1 then on the G50. There's Mike Edwards, but Ian Bain flying as well. Look for that red fire engine MV in the middle, number 18. No sign of it yet, but once they get that going, it will be on the case. But Duncan Fitchett then on the number 99, Max Norton, out in front at the moment. There's Michael Russell, number 68, ahead of the G50. And Mike Edwards, there's Fitchett going through already. And this is, Bruce, is unfolding into something like the race we had yesterday, where we had a bit of a runaway leader and a terrific scrap for second place. It's deja vu.
Yeah, Mike Edwards really, really keen on 1-2-1 to make good. He's gone past Ian Bain into second place. Can they do anything about Fitchett? Fitchett escaping fabulous little four-bike battle for second place, though, as they exit the second part of Laverton. Michael Russell right in there as well in number 68. Great battling. Back up your end of the track, Barry.
Well, Fitchett's on the number 2 bike. They had a misfiring qualifying. Look at the way that Mike Edwards sweeps past, and Russell there as well. So Michael Russell, who will hand that bike over to the Midlander Mike Rutter, who will be off shortly to the Macau Grand Prix. Classic TT winner Michael Rutter. Spoke to him earlier. He's in very buoyant spirits, but they're watching the race leader disappear at the moment, Duncan Fitchett.
Look for the green helmet. I think that's Mick Grant on number 10, going really well up into about 5th place from the 3rd row. So it's Fitchett ahead of Russell, Edwards, Bain, and indeed in 5th place, Mick Grant on number 10.
Mick Grant, yeah, in the green helmet, there he is. Mick Grant doing an absolutely brilliant job. He'll hand over to Gary Johnson when we've still got 23 minutes, a long way to go in this race. These 500cc motorcycles from the period 90. So, we've already got a faller. Now, what is that down on the ground?
Is that the matchless?
Sophie Smith.
Sophie Smith's dropped it.
That's Sophie Smith. What a shame. Let's have a look. Coming into the chicane, did she get it? Oh, yeah, she lost it. Lost the rear end, but on the grass safely, over the rumble strip. So the very likeable young French lady is on the grass. Huh?
Slid as she was supposed to. Once the bike was going down, she dropped it and slid across the verge, time-honoured fashion. Now, I don't think Duncan Fitchett's getting away any further. He made that amazing start to put clear air between he and Michael Russell, who's leading the chase. 1.9 seconds was the gap between them on the start-finish line last time around, giving chase down to the 67 bike. That's mid-order. 67, that's Glenn English and Gordon Russell. Glenn English on board at the moment. But look, there's the lead between 99 and 68. Is that 2 seconds? I think it probably is.
Duncan Fitchett then. Yes, it is. 1.901 over the line last time, ahead of Mike Russell. Then it's Spike Edwards, the man who crashed yesterday, lost the front brake, had front end patter, and he said it was my fault. I just went in too hot. He was dusting it up with Steve Plater there. It was a bit of a coming together. Now, I can tell you, when we get to the pit stop situation, Duncan Fitchett will hand over to Jeremy McWilliams, who is a real charger. The number 121 bike that Mike Edwards is on will be handed over to James Hayden. Yeah, and they can have it. 1.7 the gap.
1.7 it was coming down, but you can shave a 1/10 of a second off here, a 1/10 of a second off there. But in the pit stop alone yesterday, the rider change, Duncan Fitchett taking over Jeremy McWilliams, probably saved 3 seconds. They were so well rehearsed on and off. 71 in the pits, that's not going according to plan. That's Connor Cummins. Unfortunately, Norton, one of the many, 15, I believe, Max Norton's in the race, but this one not in the race. A replay at the start, Barry.
71, Keith Clark in the pits. Here we go. Sprinting across then. All in their period black leathers. It's wonderful how everyone has entered into the spirit of this Goodwood revival. They looked the part, but Duncan Fitchett was like a rat out of a trap. Away he went. Mick Grant got a cracking start as well, number 10, but very quickly Mick Grant was gobbled up by Ian Bain on the number 14 Norton. He does put a good bike together, Ian Bain. Looking up the inside, Lansdowne Cup champion Mike Edwards, Mike Spike Edwards, a man in his 50s who knows how to ride a motorcycle, still riding in the modern world.
So there's Sophie Smith. We said she was okay, and she's just smile on her face there, and a little bit of frustration. She'll get to enjoy the race trackside. Obviously would have been far happier to be continuing. She was lapping very well in about 10th place at the time the bike went down.
Yeah, Bruce, I can tell you that lady takes her motorcycle racing seriously. She will be very fed up with her rider error, which is basically what it was. She just lost the back end, too much gas too soon.
It's race on. Michael Russell's taken a second off race leader. Duncan Fitchett on that lap, 3/4 of a second behind, so 99, still ahead of 68. And Mick Grant there on the screen, still in 5th place. He's right under the tail of Ian Bain's bike, so really closing up behind.
Well, he's put a new rear tyre on simply because they had a bit of an oil leak. He had to take the oil tank off, disappear overnight and get it welded up. Had to go 10 miles down the road and exercise his TIG welding skills to stop the oil leak. That destroyed the rear tyre, so there's a brand new back tyre on there. But Granty very much on the case now. But Mike Russell and Duncan Fitchett, the race leader, know each other very well. They race together week in, week out in classic races. And here is Michael Russell on the number 68.
In the background, Mick Grant going around the outside, not quite getting past Ian Bain. He was alongside in the first part of St Mary's, but Bain held on, leads this duo in this wonderful battle for 4th place through the first part of the sweepers at Lavant. They're two right-handers. Get one right, you don't necessarily get the second. The second one's the really key one, of course. That's where you need to be getting the power down for the kink straight that leads all the way from Lavant up to Woodcote. And Mick Grant hunkering as low as he can on the tank, but a much better exit from Ian Bain there.
My all-time hero, or one of my all-time heroes, the number 10 Mick Grant, the Yorkshireman, multiple TT winner. Does he know how to ride a motorcycle? And doing an absolutely brilliant job here. Mick Grant then on the back of Ian Bain, and I would expect Granty to get the better of Ian Bain. And then when Mick Grant comes in, he's going to be handing over to Gary Johnson, a modern-day Isle of Man TT regular. And Gary Johnson, TT winner as well, certainly knows. And Grant is on the inside. Through he goes underneath Ian Bain. No! Ian Bain sweeping round the long way. Granty has gone a little bit wide, but he's shown his front wheel. He's made his intentions clear. So Mick Grant, number 10, is going to have a go for 4th place here. We still have 18 minutes remaining. Grant then pushing on, but he's in 5th place.
And of course, it's a two-rider race, so it's all about the overall strength, the aggregate strength, if you want, of each of the pairings. If you've got one rider much better than the other, the slower riders out first, they'll make the pit stop as soon as they possibly can. If the riders are fairly well matched, they'd rather come into a less crowded pits, so they'll come in a little bit later. But this battle for 4th place will rage all the way. Who'll blink first? At the moment, it's Bain in 4th place, being chased so hard by Grant. Grant is determined to get past. No quarter given, no quarter asked. 14 stays ahead of 10, so Bain ahead of Brogan, but they're gradually dropping away from the tail of 121, Mike Edwards and Michael Russell. Oh, it's ebbing and flowing between he and Duncan Fitchett, and Russell is now 1.3 seconds back from race leader. Duncan Fitchett, who made that amazing start, was leading into the first corner, has never been caught, never been headed. There he is on 99, starting yet another lap, onto lap 6.
Ian Bain then moving away now from Mick Grant. Michael Russell, number 68, and there Mike Edwards. So this race settling a bit. We've got a 1.7 gap now from the race. Look at Granty. Granty in the wheel tracks of Ian Bain, number 14, nipping out again, and this time making it stick. But keep it tight, Mick. Keep it tight. Don't go too wide, because if you leave a gap, Ian Bain will be through. But now Grant is away, up to 4th place on that beautifully prepared 1962 Manx Norton. They were entered on an MV Augusta, changed to Norton at the last minute, and Norton, of course, something that Mick Grant will have ridden back in the day. He knows how to make a motorcycle go, and go he is. Mick, oh, look at this, the chasing bunch, headed by Clive Ling on the Manx Norton. Number 3 in there going well, Sebastian Gooch on the BMW Catcher. Terrific race further down the field. Number 75 as well, John Lee Pemberton, sharing that bike with Cal Crutchlow's father, Derek Crutchlow.
Well, there you are. We saw the caps on the screen. They're fighting over 8th place. Oh, a clash, I'm afraid. 75 taking the front wheel out of number 20. So down onto the deck goes Ling.
Oh, up on his feet, though.
He's very frustrated, hitting the turf, and the assailant has ridden off through the cornstoops and will rejoin on 75. It was getting very close. That was John Lee Pemberton.
Well, I tell you who the number 98 was involved in that was Rodney O'Connor, Kevin Schwantz's teammate. So that's interesting stuff. Kevin Schwantz then will inherit that bike. Rodney O'Connor's the third man in this bunch on the screen, as you can see, so he benefited from Ling's crash. There's Rodney O'Connor, number 98, on the bike that he will hand over to Kevin Schwantz. Number 3 going through there, Sebastian Gooch, as well on that Boxer Twin BMW. That is a relatively modern Boxer Twin. It's a 1966, and he's doing a good job with it.
So none too surprisingly, as 98 makes progress through the order, still waved yellow flags at St Mary's, where we had the number 20 bike hitting the turf, the front wheel taken away from it by 75 with John D. Pemberton on board. Bike's now being pushed clear to get out of the way behind the dummy control tower on the inside.
Number 21, the guy leading that chase, Sebastian Perez, and they are battling. Perez is now in 6th place, and he'll hand over to Bernard Murray, but terrific scraps all the way down field. That's a replay. That's a replay of that. The front wheel just got swept away. I momentarily took my eyes off the timing screen, saw that, and thought, here we go again.
And here's another replay. You can see 75 John Lee Pemberton in front, and he just carries sort of straight on, way away from the apex, and thinking they'd run on parallel courses around the corner. I'm afraid down went number 20, and that was a big tumble.
Well, Lee Pemberton will have felt that as he wanders off into the Bale Stooks. Well, what am I supposed to do, he said. I was on the outside line, the guy just wandered across in front of me. Well, I think we put that one down as a racing incident, but up on his feet, and not exactly back in business, but Glenn English waiting to take over here.
Pit window open, and very keen riders waiting to build on the work that their teammates have done. And that's Barry Baxter going out now on number 15. But importantly, the race leading bike has come in, and Gareth. So Duncan Fitchett has got off, and on board goes his partner in crime yesterday, took victory, and it's Jeremy McWilliams.
Yes, indeed. Barry Baxter has handed over the number 15 bike to Peter Crew. So it's rider number 2 for the second part of the session today. Generally speaking, that will be the faster of the 2 riders. The aim of this, ladies and gentlemen, is to get enough of a lead established before you hand over to your teammate so that he can finish the job that you have set out to do. I still can't see the MV running, so it looks like number 18 MV is out of it. Here we have the 90. Kevin Schwantz on board then. 1993 500cc world champion Kevin Schwantz on a motorcycle now that is beginning to work. Looking back over his shoulder at Bernard Murray, say, come on Bernard, let's go and have a tussle. Let's see what Revving Kevin could do. Here he is, number 98.
I think he was almost apologising, because as he pulled away from that super speedy changeover, he nearly put the other one. Squeezed him towards the pit wall. Clearly a mistake, but that's all fine, no damage done. But just looking at the pit stops, it's so important that the rider coming in really works with the rider who's about to take over, getting their hands onto the controls straight away, onto the handlebars. Some riders you see fumble somewhat, but the top crews, they've practiced this, and it really makes a difference.
Jürgen Schwartzmann out of the pits then on the 54 BMW RS 54 that he's just inherited from Wolfgang Meyer, and now waiting to come in. James Hayden, anxious to climb aboard the number 121. You can see the ex-GP World Superbike racer shifting from foot to foot with anticipation. Now a TV broadcaster, very much involved in the world of British and world superbikes. It's got a job to do in Assen next weekend as well, I can tell you that. Number 51 coming out, Ian Duffus out on track now with the distinctive helmet with the national flag of Scotland on top. So Ian Duffus, the Scot, out on track. But you can see it's Russell Rutter, that pairing now out in front at the moment. What's going to happen? Hayden looking, there's Fitchett, McWilliams.
So McWilliams has made his pit stop. The top 3 crews who haven't stopped will be coming in this lap. 68, 121 and 10. So that's Russell, Edwards and Grant to hand over to Rutter, Hayden and Johnson. So busy times down in the pits, but Fitchett, McWilliams will be back in the lead of this race. If you look at the graphics on the screen, the pit stops being taken if you've got a red background to the numbers, yellow if they haven't, but within the next 5 minutes we should have had all the pit stops.
James Hayden absolutely itching to get on board and see what he can do, because currently Mike Edwards is in second place, the 121 bike. There's the race leader, number 68, with Michael Rutter, the Midlander, now on board. They have done their change.
Not listed as change.
Are they not?
That's Russell continuing on his way. His lead was 5.5 seconds. So they're taking the option of running as long as they can for the first rider and the shorter stint for the second rider, because when they come in, 121's come in from second place out on the track. Hayden on board. How quick was that? Whoa.
Brilliant. James Hayden was full of anticipation. Yeah, you're quite right. We haven't seen the number 68 charge changeover yet, but now James Hayden has got his head down. Here is a young man, a man from Amersham in Buckinghamshire, family man now, of course, TV presenter who's really so enthusiastic about it. Number 15 as well, Peter Crew.
The point is 99 is behind, and that's Jeremy McWilliams. They were the kings of the pit stop yesterday, the rider change, and today they haven't got it so right. So some very good in-lap there from Mike Edwards, perhaps atoning for yesterday's tumble down at the end of the lap, and 1-2-1 back out ahead.
Hayden then, James Hayden ahead of Jezza McWilliams, and still waiting for Michael Rutter to climb aboard the number 68 bike. So are we going to see a double for the 99 pairing? I don't know. These guys surely this time will be a rider change for Michael Russell. He's going to have to come in this time. He'll wave a leg to indicate he's coming into pit lane surely. See the clutch hand go down 3 gears into that. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. What a beautifully prepared bike. There it is. There's the signal. He's coming in. Let's see how quickly Michael Russell hands over to the Stourbridge man, Rutter. 42 years of age now, Michael Rutter. Classic TT winner this year, and still very much involved. Hoping to be back in the BSB paddock for the last 2 rounds. Come on.
Looks so slow on the way, and meanwhile 1-2-1 with James Hayden is coming around, who's about a second clear of McWilliams when they pass me at St Mary's. Looks though McWilliams is closed right on his tail. So Russell off, Rutter on.
Here goes Michael Rutter then, the red and white helmet. He's got to get cracking.
Slow rider change.
Oh dear me, it was a slow rider change. Where is Hayden? There is Hayden. There is Hayden on the right. There's Rutter. This is a race on track now. We have it on track. Hayden out in front. Number 99, Jeremy McWilliams in second place. You can see it. This is the race with 9 minutes remaining. Alongside goes McWilliams, a bit of a touch to James Hayden. Come on, get your finger out. So McWilliams leads. Winners yesterday, McWilliams and Fitchett lead again today. Let's have a look at this. Through, following, shadowing, and then out of the slipstream, gets it on the coals, comes alongside, reaches out. Just a little touch. I'm coming past you. And he does. Wonderful stuff.
And just after that, there was a little wave. Was that? There we are. A replay. I'm touching. You can. Now, is this goodbye, eat my dirt, or is it come and play? And the answer is it's come and play. We've still got 8 minutes of racing. They're super close together. You see Hayden may have been pushed back to second. He's not dropping away. So Jeremy McWilliams, no doubt with a glint in his eye, leading this race. He wants to make a race of it. They took victory yesterday. It was super close until the end. We lost the MV Augusta that was leading the way, and they came through to victory. But today, James Hayden is definitely in the hunt on 1-2-1.
I'll tell you what, Bruce, there are tail enders ahead of them, and I know it's a very fast-flowing circuit here at Goodwood, but with back markers to negotiate, anything can happen. There they go, 15, 22. They're right up behind those back markers now. Jeremy McWilliams on the number 99 bike, and Hayden's right with him, tucked in behind, getting his head down, trying to get, he's going to get the drag if he possibly can. Look at that, number 15 ahead of them. That's Peter Crew. So Peter Crew now doing his stint with 7.5 minutes remaining, is still ahead. So Peter Crew is no mean peddler here. A look over the shoulder, a bit of a 2-fingered salute from Jeremy McWilliams, a bit of a come on to James Hayden, but Hayden is still in the hunt. He's down your end, Bruce.
Certainly is. So it's Manx Norton ahead of Matchless. Matchless were looking fairly good for a couple of podium places yesterday, and with the two of them tumbling together at Woodcote, came away with nothing. But today, look, we could have a Matchless on the top. He's just gone in front. 99 is ahead, but 1-2-1 in the dip as they go past me. So super close. And don't forget, which lap do you need to lead? You need to lead the final, come out of the final corner of the race ahead. That's all.
McWilliams then with Hayden closer than he's been. McWilliams, James Hayden on the number 1-2-1. They're past Peter Crew, and they are really stonking on. Looking further down the track, right at the back of the picture. Some 4.3 seconds adrift now is Michael Rutter, but they were on the podium yesterday. If they can bring it home today to a double podium, that is job well done. But Hayden and McWilliams are at it here at the chicane. Hayden looking for a way through. He is not going to give up, I can tell you. He's going to shadow Jeremy McWilliams, the Ulsterman, all the way here. And this Manx Norton and the G50 Matchless of the number 1-2-1 so evenly matched, the 500cc red tanked Matchless. Hayden then on the inside, McWilliams now easing away. The gap was 1/10 of a second over the line last time. And number 12, they're slipping through on the inside. Another tail ender there. That's Mick Hemmings, the Northampton motorcycle dealer, so renowned for building Norton Commandos back in the day.
And clearly what Hayden's trying to do is get so close behind McWilliams that McWilliams can't find him without turning to look. He has actually opened a bit of a gap. McWilliams ahead of him. Well, when I say, I mean probably a fifth of a second. Oh, a bit of a twitch there from Hayden as he went into the dip out of St Mary's on 121, the matchless with the red tank. He's definitely got it in him to take this race, but how much is McWilliams just staying there to play? Has he got the speed to pull away? Well, we've got 5 minutes to find out.
I could tell you, I would imagine the Norton is slightly quicker. James Hayden's riding the wheels off the matchless to stay with the number 99 Norton ahead of him. Now he's right on the back of Jeremy McWilliams. Surely he's going to make a lunge for it, because I know James Hayden. He's not James Hayden if he doesn't have a lunge. He's going to see an opening and he's going to go for it, and it's up the inside, but there's no way through, because sweeping round from the outside was Jeremy McWilliams, and they are really, really on the case here. This is going to go all the way to the wire. Hayden's on the inside again. No, still at the chicane, it's McWilliams, and this is where the Norton punches out down the start-finish straight, and as it gets into its stride, it stretches out the gap from the matchless. Hayden's fast on the corners, Bruce. He's coming around to you now.
Oh, undoubtedly so. But the thing about it, you could be confused at 15 in the background. It's a lap down, so don't worry about that's not in the mix. But whoever's on board that at the moment is riding it beautifully, whether it's Peter Crewe or Barry Baxter, riding supremely well and staying with them. He's not in the hunt, however. Don't be confused.
He's in 14th place, actually. He's Peter Crewe. And he was, as we said, a tail ender, so they got past him. This is the battle, though. He's staying with them, Peter Crewe. He's obviously getting a riding lesson from both of these guys, who are still, in fact, contemporary riders. Jeremy McWilliams worked very much at rider training schools. Just behind them, we
just talked about Patrick Crewe, and he's just run across the grass on the exit of St Mary's. Maybe he wasn't learning the lesson quite as well as he thought he was, but he had the best seat in the house. Now, who's got the better seat right now? Is it McWilliams leading the race, or is it Hayden, who is absolutely his shadow, riding in his blind spot, waiting to make the move? When will it come? We've probably got 2-3 more laps in this race. Just a little bit of air between the Max Norton as they accelerate down the Lavant Straight, between he and the matchless driven by James Hayden. But Hayden, as you said, when he gets the corners, he's really attacking with gusto on 121. Will he be able to close it up around Woodcote? Yes, he will. He's done that lap after lap, and then they have to haul the anchors to very quick weight transfer through the chicane. There we come round to complete another lap. 99 ahead with McWilliams, and Hayden right behind on 121.
James Hayden will have a go on the brakes, probably at the right-hander at the end of the straight. He's right there now. He's got to move across to the right-hand side of the track, which he does. A bit of a wobble from the G50, but Jeremy McWilliams knows he's there. The Norton will not be overshadowing the bellow from the megaphone of the G50 matchless. And another look behind from the Ulsterman. Hey, where are you, Hayden? I can tell you. I'm right behind you, and 5 seconds down the road it's still Michael Rutter ahead of Mick Grant, and Gary Johnson, and through goes James Hayden to take the lead, but he's on the outside line, and cutting through on the back is McWilliams. They're having fun here. It's not exactly in the sun at Goodwood, but it is dry. Grey clouds overhead. The track is absolutely in perfect condition, and James Hayden now, that bike sadly was thrown away yesterday. Such a pity. When Mike Spike Edwards, who was going so strongly, binned it, so they won't get an overall, but they could well get a very strong race result here. Here they come then.
It's way too complicated to think of aggregate things. We have to treat yesterday as a treat and today as a separate treat. Yes, we can do the maths later on, but for now, let's just enjoy this brilliant battle. Under 2 minutes to go, and fighting back up the inside goes Jeremy McWilliams, but no, he doesn't. That was a head-on shot as they go down to Woodcote. James Hayden on 121 on the red tanked matchless, leading the way now. Have we got attacking coming from behind? He certainly bided his time, but that move around the outside was the key. Clipping the edge of the chicane, however, that's no use at all.
How close do you want it? There's a whole banner there being dragged down the start-finish straight. Hayden took his left hand off and discarded the piece of debris that was hanging on to him. Goodness me. And I tell you what's crucial, back markers ahead of them now. Back markers, look at Hayden. Hayden's lunging around the outside, but he's having to go the long way round. The back marker makes him sit up, possibly unaware that he's there. The number 38, they've just circumnavigated. That's Stan Woods on the wonderful Max Norton, left to him by Alan Robinson, our former Goodwood commentating colleague here.
Wow, that was like Hakkinen and Michael Schumacher going around Ricardo Zonta at Spa-Francorchamps many years ago in the Belgian Grand Prix. And one thing I noticed when they crossed the start-finish line, we may have the checkered flag come out a second or two after they cross. We could have one more lap to go. This doesn't look as though it's going to be the final lap, not quite, but 1:21 still ahead of 99. So Jeremy McWilliams took victory yesterday with Duncan Fitchett. Today he might be second on the track, or has he got a trick up his sleeve? That's the biggest gap we've seen between them.
He's almost on the grass. Hayden now has stretched the gap. That's Bernard Murray, number 21, that they've just zoomed past. And here we go, Hayden then, Jeremy McWilliams. James Hayden absolutely having a race of his life. This harks back to the James Hayden I know from British Superbike days when he spent his time on Virgin Yamaha. There's no 99 McWilliams having a lunge. We're down into the clock ticking away. They will certainly, I think, get the checkered flag next time round, but Hayden's still ahead of McWilliams through the chicane. Are they going to get one more lap in? I'm sure they are. Yes, indeed. Over the line they go then for one more lap of this Barry Sheene Memorial riveting race. Through goes McWilliams as they start the last lap. McWilliams heads James Hayden, and Hayden then having a fight. He's going to give, I tell you, Bruce, he's going to go for it.
He is, and the fact he went around the outside between Ford Water and the Kink before St Mary's last time, we know he's a brave rider. He's got to do it all over again, but it looks as though McWilliams has found the extra power that Max Norton seems to be enjoying and is using it this time around. He's put about 0.2 of a second between he and Hayden as they come to the corner before St Mary's, and coming through St Mary's for the final time. 99, the Max Norton is ahead. A better exit speed though by Hayden, and the Matchless behind at 1:21. This is the final last half lap of the race. It looks as though 99 has done enough, but the order has changed many times before, so I can't say it with any certainty at all. And look how Hayden, as he goes through the first into the second part of lap and closing right up on the Matchless, and McWilliams doesn't know where he is. Barry, bring us to the finish.
Well, that's it. Hayden having a look. Having a look right, having a look left. McWilliams then, is this going to be a double victory? Well, anyone can say what's going to happen. I don't know, nobody can say. You can guess. Hayden then is going to maybe try and do it on the brakes. Does the Matchless have superior? Braking on the inside, and through goes James Hayden to take the lead here. It's going to be a run-in as they go down towards the final right-hander. McWilliams looking back at the chicane. Side by side they go, the sprint to the flag. Hayden, get your head down. Wind it up, wind it up, wind it up. There's the debris from Hayden clipping it, and over the line, victorious. Oh dear me, how close do you want it? James Hayden gets it from Jeremy McWilliams. Terrific elation from James Hayden. What a race that was. 5.1 seconds further down, Michael Rutter getting another podium place for himself and Mike Russell. Oh dear me, brilliant. Absolutely outstanding.